Hello guys, welcome to a new video, and this time it's a Disdain video review. So I've been playing a lot of Quake lately, and in a Facebook group Disdain got recommended for being a Quake-like shooter, and so I had to try the demo out, since the game is still unreleased. You can find the demo on Steam if you're interested. I was fought between playing the demo or just putting up Quake, but in the end I decided to break from vicious routines, which is always the smart thing to do, and this applies to everything in life. And so, my first impressions are that this game is very good, sporting design choices that even managed to improve on the classic ID Software masterpiece. So, what's the first Quake feature Disdain improved? Let's start by the violence. There are indeed more gibs than Quake. You can admire blood gushing from the cultists or imp-like enemies after landing an headshot. And talking about blood, yeah, this game features cultist enemies much like in Blood or in the newly released Cultic. Another cool design choice is that the corpses of your enemies remain on the ground for a long time, if not forever, and in the first level of the demo, after a long and murderous fight inside a sort of arena, you can admire the results of your hard sweaty job, with hundreds of carcasses laying on the ground and squirts of blood splattered on the walls. Pretty neat, I'm not gonna lie. Now it's time to talk about the weapons. Your melee weapon is a sword, and I love swords as starting weapons. And this one has actually got a pretty good range, unlike swords in video games that have the range of a knife. It also rewards the player for melee kills with 10 HP. And in my opinion, this is a good design choice because melee combat is completely shunned in games like Quake or Doom, at least the original. Now there are glory kills, cause risking to get hit just because you felt like bullying a bunch of pixels on the screen is not too desirable. Then, much like in Quake 1, there is no pistol, but a trusty shotgun instead, and a pump-action shotgun is always better than a weak pistol. It behaves almost identically to the Quake 1 shotgun, with high rate of fire, decent accuracy, and it's a great weapon to land headshots with if you want to save buckshots by not using the stronger counterpart, the double-barrel shotgun. The double-barrel shotgun in Disdain wreaks havoc in whichever enemy stumbles on your path, and I would say that Disdain is truly satisfying because it presents more enemies than in Quake. Thus, using the double-barrel shotgun with its huge spread can lead to more enemy dying as collateral damage. Its sound is beefy and the gores it generates are glorious, so thumbs up for this weapon. Inside the demo there is no nail gun, but as a substitute there is a reliable chain gun that can be as accurate as an SMG by not spraying, or as destructive as a real-life minigun, if you decide to hold the trigger until your ammos are depleted. It's a very fun gun to use and effective against cultists. Disdain showcases various types of enemies. As we have said, there are cultists wielding shotguns and SMGs. Then there are your standard melee enemies that have a dash and which graphic design I really appreciate, even though I feel like the knights from Quake were more threatening. Speaking of Death Knights, in Disdain there is an imp-looking enemy that inherited the Death Knight's ranged attack, and it's quite deadly too if you tank the entire volley of pulses with your face. Then there are these mechanical rhinos, which behave pretty much like the fiends in Quake or clears in Serious M. And I would say that they are less agile and swift than the fiends, since they don't jump as far as them, and they have less HP than the fiends, but more than a clear, so they stand in between. Pretty fun enemy to blast with your super shotgun or rocket launcher. But the honorable mention of Disdain enemy lineup go to the bloody, emo, screaming female flying heads. These thrilling visages of women are just as annoying as your reproachful mom, angry girlfriend or whiny wife, and just as scary as when they are on their period. The first encounter with this foe could startle any player, either because they get frightened by them or because they get owned by them, or in my case, a mix of both. These female heads are clearly inspired by the Doom Lost Souls, but the fact that they look like your goth girl crush during an Halloween party makes them even more unsettling, cause you'll have to kill them. Unfortunately, these are all the enemies the demo has to offer, and I would like to see some type of marine creature added to the roster, because the water areas are kinda empty. In my opinion, the enemies are cool in their death animation, but Quake lineup stays more iconic. Well, no shit, Quake has kept us classic FPS fans company for about 26 years, while Disdain isn't even out yet. One thing Disdain improves upon Quake is the HP and damage values assigned to weapons and enemies. I swear, the developer absolutely nailed the amounts of shots it takes to take the enemies down. In Quake, meeting a Death Knight or an Ogre can be a pain in the ass because it takes something like 7 direct hits of super shotgun or 2 to 3 rockets to take him down, while in Disdain you rip enemies apart smoothly, and thus the combat is a constant flow of explosions, gushes of blood and ejected shell casing. Now let's consider the aesthetics of Disdain. Disdain shares some of Quake aesthetics. The first 2 levels seems to be located in places that look medieval, with wooden doors and elevators, torches hanging on walls made of stone, and sci-fi setting at the same time, since you will traverse section with metallic grounds and there are big modern lamps too. The big arching doors and the portal you jump into at the end of the 2 levels featured in the demo, and the end screen after a level, all are a direct reference to Quake. Perhaps one criticism I can make to Disdain is that the game looks a bit too bright. Even traveling inside a cavern, which one might expect to be dimly lit, feels like walking down a Manhattan street in bright day. This small aspect might break immersion, but it improves the visibility of the enemies, so it's a good thing gameplay wise. Spotting enemies, in fact, is not a difficult task in this game, unlike the newly released Cultic, and gameplay wise visibility is always a good feature in a game. The developer, yes, you heard it right, developer without the S, cause it's mostly a single person working on this title, really seems to know classic FPS game design in depth. From his YouTube channel, which I checked by the credits of the demo, we can understand that he has been involved for 10 years or maybe even more in the Doom modding community, so I 100% confide in his gaming developing abilities. Also, this game is in GZDoom, I believe, and so he's surely gonna do a great job. Before closing the video, let's spend a few words on the movement aspect of Cultic. Your character runs at quite a high speed, the controls are very responsive, and the jump goes also quite high. The movement is basic, in the sense that there is no dash, no double jump, no crouch slide, but I'm one of those who doesn't like at all these artificial movement options. In fact, I like FPS when movement is simple, but where you can also bunny up. In Disdain there's no bunny up unlike in Quake, but the developer said in one of his streams that bunny hopping caused various bugs with the jump, and so he deleted it from the game. I mean, I guess that this only affects me and other few players, since nobody really bunny hops nowadays. So I mean, this is my personal complaint and it probably does not apply to you. So with all that I've said, I'll be waiting eagerly for this game to release, and you should do the same. Bye guys, like and subscribe if you like the video. Bye.